Welcome to Grade 7 Maths, Chapter 2, Session 3, Value of the Products. Let's start. Observe the picture carefully. You can see so many fractions being shown here. Create a story using the above picture. You have 5 minutes for creating a story. You can share your own experience related to the picture given above. I hope you all enjoyed creating a story. So today, students, we will learn about value of the products. Value of the products. Let's read the conversation between FDAC and Robonorm in the exploration zone on page number 33 from the concept book. FDAC says, Robonorm, we have learned the multiplication of fractions, but I still did not get answer for my problem. Robonorm replies, well, as I told you, the product of fractions depends on the type of fractions. FDAC says, I did not get you, Robonorm. Robonorm says, let me explain you with the help of some examples. Product of fractions depends on the type of fractions. Let us understand this through an example. Let us multiply two different natural numbers and check the product. So here, when you see 2 multiplied by 3 is equal to 6, 3 multiplied by 4 is 12, 3 multiplied by 8 is 24, and 5 multiplied by 7 is 35. So we observe here that the product of two whole numbers is bigger than each of the two whole numbers. Now let's see another example where we are multiplying two proper fractions. We are multiplying 2 upon 3 by 5 upon 7, and the answer is 10 upon 21. But what do we observe here? We observe that the product of two different proper fractions is less than each of the two fractions. Now let's see an example of multiplication of two improper fractions. So we have here 8 upon 3 multiplied by 10 upon 7, and our answer is 80 upon 21. So we observe here that the product of two different improper fractions is greater than each of the two fractions. Let's see another example. In the next example, we will multiply proper fraction with an improper fraction. And that is where you see 7 upon 3 multiplied by 3 upon 5, it comes up to 7 upon 5. So what do we observe here? We observe that the value of the product is less than the improper fraction and greater than the proper fraction. So now children, let's find the product of 8 upon 9 and 13 upon 5, and let's find out if it is greater than or less than each of the two given fractions. You can now check your responses here. So what we got is the product of 8 upon 9 and 13 upon 5 is greater than the fraction 8 upon 9 but less than the fraction 13 upon 5. Let us study a few more examples. So here is a question from part D of practice zone 3, page number 34 from the concept book. State whether the product obtained is greater or smaller than the fractions multiplied without actually solving them. Find the product of the two fractions given above. You can now check your response here. So here, this shows that the product so obtained is smaller than each of the two given fractions. Let's do a quick check. Try and solve question 3 and question 4 of MCQ page number 19 of the workbook. Here is question 3 and question 4. You have to choose the correct option. You can now check your response. Assessment time. Solve Part A to Part C of Practice Zone 3, page number 34 from the concept book. State whether the product obtained is greater or smaller than the fractions multiplied without actually solving them. You can now check your response. Let's practice. I teach. Are you ready to become the teacher? Teach your parents to identify the value of products depending on the type of fractions. Ask your parents to find if the product of the given fraction is greater than or lesser than each of the given fraction. I do. Take all fractional values from the recipe learnt from the last session. Make as many combinations of two fractional values as possible. Find the products of all combinations. Also, write product of which combination of fractional values is greater than each of its two fractions. Practice worksheet. Do question 11 of checkpoint given on page number 16 in the workbook. So here's question number 11. Which one is smaller of the two? The skills developed in this session were computation, comprehension, and reasoning. Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy, keep learning.